Hey everyone, John here from All Miniatures Great and Small. Today we're going to be unboxing this thing. This is an Elegoo 3D printer. It is a Saturn 4 Ultra 16K. I picked it up on Black Friday on sale, and I thought I would unbox and kind of go through the adventure of opening it up and adding a new printer to the printer family. I currently have a Saturn 2 8K. So I'm upgrading from a Saturn 2 to a Saturn 4. I'm starting to have, a few issues here and there with the Saturn 2. I thought, why not expand the family, try out the Saturn 4, especially now that it's on sale. This is not sponsored by Elegoo. My thoughts are my own, so kind of as we go through this, we'll go through together setting it up. Now, my perspective as a 3D printer is purely amateur. I'm a hobby 3D printer that cares more about printing out models than I do engaging in the depths of the field of 3D printing. I'm not a 3D printing expert by any measure, so any advice that I give during these videos, take with a grain of salt and double check. Alright, I wonder if that's going to fit in my 3D printer space though, because it does take up more space in the back, as you can see. So you're going to have at least this much clearance behind your 3D printer on the shelf, which is something you don't have to worry about with the Saturn 2 that I have, because the lid just lifts right off, which is its own annoying thing. I'm not sure how to remove this. We'll read the instructions. It's probably these two screws will have to come out. Looks like that has some good grease on it. So we'll have to take the next step. I know that one of the reasons why I got this one instead of the regular Saturn 4 Ultra is that it has a heated vat, which is nice. And yes, I live in Arizona, and most of the time I don't need to worry about a heated vat, but we do like to keep the house cool, and in the winter we really try not to run anything. So I like the heated vat. I actually bought like a third-party vat heating system for the Saturn, which just put like a band around the vat, but there's dangling wires and a little dial. It worked great, but it was a little janky. It looked a little janky, but I was a convert to heating your resin before a 3D print. It also has a camera and a, I believe it's a sensor. No, it's got a light and a camera. This looks like a little tiny camera lens. That's cute. Somehow snaps into this. And I'm not sure. Oh, I think it goes that way. And then that little thing will clip down. And it has to be pretty secure. Abby was a little afraid to push it too hard because this is pulling off. It's supposed to be self-leveling, and I've heard some debate whether it's self-leveling or not, but again, we'll take a look at that closer. All right, we'll come off the tripod and take a little bit closer look at the machine. All right, here's a closer view of the machine and all the accessories. We have the metal scraper, the funnels, USB, some masks. I'm assuming these are feet with screws and some Allen wrenches, some gloves, a plastic scraper, the user manual, the power supply, and that tray. Just kind of a look on the outside. That's the screen, I'm assuming. Over here you have the power switch and a USB jack. On this side, you just have a exhaust vent, metal body, which is nice. Checking the back side, this looks like a removable vent here for maybe setting up your own exhaust system. Detail on there. Very nice graphics here. You should be able to see me in the shininess. Okay. And then let's see if we can open this with one hand. Kind of. I don't like that necessarily. The mechanism to open the the lid is very smooth. We got the build plate here and the vat, and then back there is, like I said, the camera and the light. It has one big rail there, or no, it's got two rails. I guess maybe that's on. I'm excited to try this because with the other one you had like a big nut that you unscrewed. So this flip down seems better. The handles are really easy to hold. And I wonder how hard that's going to be to clean. So the idea is that kind of splashes into there and builds your model. All right, so that's all the components for the Saturn 4 Ultra 16K. All right, we'll continue in a moment. Okay, I'm just reading the manual. I had to take out the screws to remove the vat, and then also peel off the film that was protecting the screen, and there was one on the bottom of the vat as well. The screws that were in there are replaced by these. These aren't feet that I said earlier, and they just kind of go in and just like that. Not too shabby. And then just going through the manual, I've already put the build plate up here. You can't really see it the way that I have the camera framed now. So now we're going to turn her on, and it's supposed to do a self-check on key hardware components. So let's go ahead and do that. Sign so far. Select language. We're going to go with English. Confirm selected language. We're confirming. Select region, North America. No Wi-Fi detected. Well, it hasn't given me the opportunity to select a Wi-Fi. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and select the Wi-Fi off camera so you don't see my secret password. All right, confirming the password wasn't any problem, though this keyboard is pretty tiny for my fat finger, so but I got it. No problem. That's just a nitpick. So we're going to confirm. I wonder if we could change the name if we wanted to, if you had a big print farm. And now it's doing the self-test. The mechanical sensor is being calibrated. Do not touch the printer. Okay. It's moving the vat. Oh, okay. Well, that looks very optimistic, doesn't it? let me consult the instructions and see what it says. I just noticed looking at the manual here, it does say, oops, wrong way. It does say that when the accumulated usage of the release film is approaching 60,000 times, the device will issue a reminder to replace the release film promptly. Click the refresh button on the device self-check page to reset the counter manually. So that's good to know. I do like having some kind of timing on when to replace the film. That is not a fun process, and it looks like it's not fun with this one either. It looks like it's the same thing. It's like 12 billion screws. You know, sometimes with a failed print you might damage your screen, but that's good to have. Okay, so the next thing is just doing a test print. They recommend the Rook, but I might find something else to try. Alright, I've been running this Saturn 4 Ultra 16K non-stop for about 8 or 9 days, and I wanted to put it through its paces before I concluded this video with my final thoughts and stuff like that. So first, what I was looking for again as in a printer. So as a hobbyist first, I wanted something that was simple. I'm not a complete novice when it comes to 3D printing, but I'm not an expert. 3D printing is not my hobby. 3D printing is the means to support my hobby, especially in a landscape where miniatures and everything in the world is getting more expensive. 3D printing, once you buy the machine, can be an affordable way to still engage with the hobby in a meaningful way. So, you know, when you consider my review, consider my perspective. This is where I'm coming at as a gamer and a hobbyist first, 3D printer second. So as far as ease of use, and I can only compare these to the previous 3D printers I've had, a Saturn II and an original Mars, or maybe a Mars 2. But this one by far is the easiest to use. I have not leveled the build plate once in 8 days, and I've pretty much been running this non-stop the last 8 days. One thing I did do was print out a bracket on PLA. You can see it's in there, and it just helps the resin drip into the pan and save you a little resin every time you do it. But using this is very straightforward. Like I said, I didn't have to level the build plate, which I had to do all the time on my Mars and fairly infrequently on my Saturn II, but still I had to level it, and that's always a pain in the butt. With the self-leveling feature that it has, I just plugged it in and started going. I had 2 failures, which are my fault. One of them, I had, I think, a too low an exposure, and one of them, I think I supported the model that I was doing wrong. I'll talk to you more about that in a minute. But otherwise, the hundreds of other things I've printed, I had no problem with at all. Success after success. So keep that in mind. The cleanup is very nice. You know, this tray, we talked about it, it's pretty flimsy. This is that drip tray. It's just flimsy plastic, but it keeps resin from dripping. It keeps resin from dripping all over the machine because you move this build plate to the surface you're going to remove the models from. And it's great. I mean, I haven't gunked up my machine or anything like that because of this. So I really like that feature. The camera has been really cool. It's nice to see the progress. Like if I'm at work or something like that, I can check on what it's doing, and if it's obviously failing and it hasn't caught it itself, I can stop it from my phone, which is pretty cool. Excuse me. I could already do that with my Bamboo, my filament printer, but this is the first resin printer where I've had this option. The other thing I want to mention is this does have like a high speed function. I've used it a handful of times on different models. I really, besides the speed that the things print, I haven't noticed a change in the quality between a model I do at standard speed and at fast speed. Another thing is I did do a boo-boo. I went behind the table while it was printing and I accidentally kicked the cord. So I inadvertently got to test the resume printing feature that it has. So I plugged it back in, it rebooted, I hit resume, and no problems. I know I've seen some reviews where it failed catastrophically when you did that, but I was printing about 10 sets of 15mm tank tracks, and it did them, and I can't even see a line or anything where it paused or anything like that. So that feature for me, A+, worked. Because I got this on the Black Friday special that Elegoo had, I didn't think it was too expensive for what we're getting. The build plate's a nice size for this particular machine. If you are a hobbyist that prints small things like I did here, I don't know if you need the Saturn. You could get away with the Mars. The Saturn is nice because just the volume. You know, with this build plate, I could get like 4 Flames of War 15mm sized vehicles on a build plate with their tank, the turret, the treads, mostly. Or like 10 or 12 infantry on a build plate. The Mars is a lot smaller. It's a lot cheaper, so you're not going to be able to fit as much on the build plate. But nothing that I've printed here couldn't have been printed on a Mars. It might just have taken longer. And if you're not in a rush to do things, if that saves you a couple $100, yeah, go for the Mars. But I do like all the features that this has, and I really haven't had any trouble. I did try the tank clean feature. It works just like the Saturn II. So save a couple of your little sprue frames, so you could use it as a handle to peel out the the cured tank clean sheet afterwards. And I really have enjoyed my time with it. So as a hobbyist, I give this a thumbs up. If you guys have had any experience with this, I'd love to hear down in the comments below. If you are a 3D printer manufacturer, you're interested in us looking at your products, do reach out to us at our link here on the YouTube page. Again, I enjoyed it quite a bit. So to end the video, I'm just going to show you up close the things that I printed, so you can get an idea of at least some of the quality. Alright guys, here's a couple of the things that I printed. I printed this for my daughter. She loves anime, and this is one of the characters in one of her favorite anime. I forget what it is. I found this on, I believe, Thingiverse for... It might have been Maker World. I'll double check, and if I find it, leave a link in the description below for free. It didn't cost anything, which is nice, and I wanted to try a bigger piece. The head was separate from the body. This was the one that I had a failure on the body, but I think I oriented the plate wrong, the model on the plate wrong, and the suction just kind of pulled the model off the supports. So I upped the I upped the exposure and got it to print okay. This F4 Phantom model originally was a 1/48 scale model. If you know plastic models and the size of the Phantom, it's a pretty big model. I shrunk it down to 1/144 scale for Team Yankee, and I had all kinds of problems with it, but nothing related to the machine. It's just I shrunk something so big, tiny, and it made like the wings and things like that paper thin. So I had a failure. I had to take it into a blender and thicken up some of the parts. But otherwise, I'm very happy with how that did. I actually printed out 4 of those. This is a Hellcat model. I'll put the link down in the description below for this guy. I love the Hellcat. It's a close second behind the Sherman as far as my love of World War II fighting vehicles. The Hellcat is a speedy tank with a 76mm gun. Sorry, I don't mean to go into detail, but anyway, this model is from, I think, Excice, EKCISC. Anyway, I'll put a link for this below. I did buy this on the My Mini Factory Black Friday sale because I do want to play more bolt action and I want more stuff. I've printed some Legions Imperialis inspired tanks. You got there, and I wanted to do some infantry for Old World. So these are some cool militia infantry. All right, let's look at least some of the stuff. I would show you over here, but I'm kind of embarrassed all the other, well, the majority of stuff I've been printing. Restore. All right, guys, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this review of the Saturn 4 Ultra 16K. I did. As always, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.